York Revival, I'm in the building.
Let's go.
Live with the Revival.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Getting us kicked off the right way. Hello. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I hear this music and it just gets me in a mood.
Sure does.
Mood. Ready to roll. Jeff, why are we here today? You want to tell them? Why we're here?
Some are calling this the two best days of joint practices in NFL history.
Ever.
Certainly in Giants history. But damn, the vibes are right, and I'm excited to be here. Our brother Eli is working. He may jump in if he can. But Spiro, I'll let you kick it off. This is your show. You're the boss today.
I'm feeling good.
Tell me what's up.
I'm feeling like there's a bit of a revival of New York Giants fans' feelings over the past 2 days. Some may say that first joint practice was the greatest joint practice of all time by the New York Giants. So, from a vibe standpoint, again, the football almost was ancillary to all the good things that happened outside of on the field and off the field and just in general. And it seems that Giant fans feel like we're kind of back. I know we're not back, but it's this practice, but there's a renewed life in Giants land that we've been missing for a long time. I know I could only speak for the people on our show. The vibes weren't high here, man. The vibes weren't high. Like we were kind of almost dreading Giant season, and out comes Malik Neighbors, and just brings this team like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and just turns the whole culture of this team around. It feels like in 2 days. Like, have you ever seen anything like it? One player just changing everything in practice.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was, but it seems like the Giants all of a sudden have some teeth, right? This is not what we've seen from this team. And Neighbors, I think, is making a huge difference. Like, he's just about business. He's just about, I'm better than you. Watch me prove it on every single snap. And he is making a huge difference. It's a ripple effect. Everybody feels it there. I saw a stat, and I know, listen, it's preseason, right? And it's practices, but it is what it is, right? Neighbors got 17 targets. He caught 16 of them. He is a monster, and he is as advertised, and he is changing this team. I don't know how long this version of Daniel Jones is going to last, right? I'm not saying he's back. We got a quarterback. I'm not doing that, but I'm also not going to allow people to nitpick his touchdown passes either, because we have continued to say that we call it like we see it. When he plays well, we're going to say it. If he plays like dog shit, we're going to say it. And I have no problem with anything Daniel Jones has done in the last 2 days. He's been throwing the ball over the yard. He's been mixing it up. Listen, you want to win that locker room over? You fucking get right in the middle of that fight just like he did. I bet he earned a ton of respect by doing that. Everyone, that's been the message pretty much from, whether you're on the radio, the Giants coach, everybody likes to see that, even with the risk that is there. What did you think of DJ getting in the mess there?
I mean, again, DJ's in a unique situation, right? He's a quarterback, and everybody knows that quarterbacks don't belong in those scuffles, especially a $40 million quarterback. That is we understand that. Everybody knows that. But if you don't think that DJ has something to prove to this locker room and these players, the Neighbors of the world, the Singletaries, the new offensive linemen, if you don't think that carried a little fucking weight to all those people, even on the defensive side of the ball, like you have Brian Burns come out and flat out say, hey, oh, he got in the scrap? Oh, that's cool. He doesn't belong there. Get him out of there. But, that's pretty awesome. You saw the smile on his face. won some people over. It got him some kudos points, man. And DJ has a lot of work to do in that scenario. There are coaches in this building that don't believe in him. There are players in this building. There are front office people in this building. There's a lot of people that don't believe in Daniel Jones in his own building. When you go out and do something crazy and stupid like that, and you live to talk about it the next day, it earns you some fucking brownie points, baby. I love it. I love it. And furthermore, I kind of love what Malik Neighbors did too today, and I'm sure you saw it. You know, we got the full Malik Neighbors experience today. He was dominant, as you said, as dominant as most writers have ever seen any like veteran or rookie. And then he let one of the defensive backs, Kirby, know about it afterwards. Someone was talking shit. He got right up in his face, and people are gonna say, "Hey, he could have broke his hand. It's a stupid play." And you know what? There's substance to that. I understand that, but we're trying to set fucking precedents here. We're trying to, as a team, we're trying to show we're not going to be pushovers. And what better time to do it against a tough team in Detroit who prides themselves on bullying people. And the Giants, first day didn't get bullied. Second day didn't get bullied, which is even more impressive. Detroit was ready to come to the table, and Giants were ready for it the second day. That's what impressed me more.
From the outside looking in, it looks a little bit like Dable had these guys ready on day one, and he probably said, like, we got smacked around last time. Set the tone from the first fucking drill, the first snap. You set the tone. And listen, this is, by all standards, one of the best teams in the NFC right here, right? Like, I think San Fran is probably in their own tier. And then you've got, like, Dallas, Philly, Detroit. You've got these teams that are going to be fighting and by all assumption will be playoff teams. Detroit's a team that does not get pushed around. Like, their whole identity is that they're kind of fighters and they're dogs and they're, stuff like that. Giants went toe-to-toe with them, if not got the advantage after 2 days. And that's even with Dan Campbell. He was motivating them for today. Like, you're not getting pushed around again. And the Giants responded again. So, I said it yesterday in a space. I didn't go into this. I'm not going into this season with super high expectations of a deep playoff run. But yesterday, unexpected, got me all fucking jacked up about this team. And it's the attitude they're showing, the fight they're showing. That's what we've been missing. And if this version of Daniel Jones can stick around, then yes, this team can actually make some noise, right? They're not a fully formed product. They're not ready to go the distance. But this is a team that I just want to be a team that you don't want to see on the schedule.
Yes.
And until you do it in real games, obviously it doesn't mean anything. They need to show up when it counts. But if you continue this trend, you're going to go into week one with a lot of confidence. And we got to talk about the O-line a little bit. Had a very good day one. I think a slow start today, but then held their own, right? So, like, if we could see that improvement, this version of DJ, can I just say, at the microphone yesterday, was he not a different version of himself?
You tweeted about it. This is Dan Jones or Daniel Jones or whoever that alter ego is. This is a different person with that beard and with that tone and that a little bit more confidence. And I feel like all these actions that we've seen over the last couple of days have shown, like, hey, at first it might have started rocky. At first he had to earn, but he's stepping up to the plate a little bit from a confidence standpoint. He's making the throws that we begged him to throw. He's throwing the ball down the field. He's talking more confidently. He's acting like a different person, like you said. It's truly fucking amazing to watch.
He needs to be relaxed, both in the games and like the press conference stuff. It does matter because that's what the world sees. That's what your teammates see. And
you saw this, Daniel Jones.
When you're up there like this, giving like not even vanilla answers, like diet vanilla answers on everything.
Yes.
Just it matters. You got to have something. You got to give us something. And even though Eli was very good at this, and we were used to that for a long time, you could tell that there was a personality there. But his play, he was a silent killer on the field. You get him in a 2-minute drill, he'll do that. DJ, you got to give us something. And if you're giving us this version of yourself in practice that we've seen the last 2 days, and then this human being at a microphone, I don't need you to be the most animated dude in the world. Just be a human being. Just show me you have bacon and eggs for breakfast and not a handful of Adderall. That's what we're asking for.
And he kind of said it too. I don't know when the interview came out. I just stumbled across it, and I can't even think who posted it. But he was asked about the Hard Knocks, episodes, and how he was, how you feel about, your general manager, head coach, and everybody above you, basically saying, "Hey, we want another quarterback." And he said it ticked him off a little bit. It ticked him off, and I enjoyed that it said it even. He showed a sign of life that said it ticked him off.
Good.
It's not all Daniel well, this is a business and there's no. He said it ticked him off. Be ticked off. Be scared for your job. Play like your ass is on fire. Your ass is on fire. Neighbors is maybe bringing them out of it. Maybe seeing that shit at Hard Knocks is bringing out of it. Maybe this is what Daniel Jones needed. This kick, this ultimate huge kick in the ass, and your job is on the line. Your livelihood as a quarterback is on the line, and he's kind of playing like it now. And that's what I like to see, man. That's what I like to see.
It's like the competitive part of him because he's good with money, and
Yes.
and Jay,
Yes.
like this is a good point. Like, can he adjust and realize that, listen, you're set for life with money. Now it's just about football. Now you've got what should be a functioning O line. We're gonna hope for middle of the pack. We're not even greedy, right? Middle of the pack O line. That's it.
Right.
And then you've got receivers. I don't want to hear a damn thing about receivers.
You've got
Right?
receivers.
You've got what might be a top tier receiver in the entire NFL now. Like he's by all measures, everyone who's there, everyone who's seen him, like he's that dude. Like this is not normal. Every beat writer, guys who have covered practices and the Giants for decades are saying, never seen this. Like this is even different than Odell, which is the obvious comparison, but it's even different than that. And where's TK? Yes, TK, we're working on this. The beard obviously has to stay.
Please tell him. Somebody get this message to him.
I think we need to text our beat writer friends and get the message across. We can ask Art Stapleton, we can ask Biz from the Giant Insider, and I feel like we could trust them to relay that message for us. The fan base is united on one thing: keep the beard.
Beard. But yeah, when it comes to neighbors, though, you're right. And again, there's a couple things I want to say. Like we were worried. No, there was some doubts still, right? There was a couple of doubts after the first week or two. We're like, you know what? Maybe Flott is just trash. Maybe Banks is just not where we're supposed to be. Like maybe our secondary sucks. And then the motherfucker goes out and has one ball drop to the ground in the past 2 days out of 18 or 17 or 18. I don't know, whatever it is. And that was still even catchable. He almost caught a one-handed ridiculous catch. So if there was any doubts that this guy was going to be a truth, there's no longer any doubts. And you talked about before, we were nitpicking a throw from DJ. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a honey shot throw where it landed right between the safety and the cornerback, like Eli Manning did. One that few could do. You could do it. That's a perfect throw. You want a perfect throw, DJ? That's fine. I get it. Or even if you say it should have been a better throw, whatever it is. You drafted Malik Neighbors to erase mistakes, throws, to make good throws look great, to make average throws look great, and that's what wide receiver ones do. That's what top 5 talents at wide receiver do. They make average quarterbacks look better, and we all know Daniel Jones is not Patrick Mahomes. We all know he's not Josh Allen. We all know he's not named the quarterback, CJ Stroud. We all know he's probably not going to make that perfect throw. But what you have now is finally somebody that can go up and get that ball that's not perfect and make it look good and turn that decent throw into a touchdown. Like that's what you have now, and that's what it's like.
And on that play specifically, first of all, it was a touchdown pass. Right? A contested touchdown pass against an opponent that's not a Giant, right? Like that was a real play. That's a corner trying to make a play and he just couldn't.
Yeah.
It was in one of the places where the defender couldn't get it. And now you could see the trust forming with DJ and Neighbors. And he threw it to him. And it was in one of the spots that was good for a touchdown. I'm not critiquing that. If he's missing receivers behind him and he can't catch it, light him up for that. And I'll do the same. But not on a touchdown pass. And like, that's what I mean. Like, we're going to call it down the middle. We're going to call it as we see it. I'm not a fan of critiquing touchdown passes because every week in the NFL, you see those, whether it's a back shoulder, you got to jump where the defender's not turned around. There's a few places you can put that pass. But I mean, if he leads them like this, who knows? Maybe the defender gets a hand on it. It was a touchdown pass. Let's check that for a good play and move on. Let's come on, guys. There's enough to.
And maybe he does it differently next time. Maybe he throws it over his shoulder next time. They're still getting, again, we're 2 weeks into it, full speed against the first real other team than the Giants players. Like, this is, you're at the first eighth of the total reps that they're going to get over their career, hopefully, or over the year at least. But come on, like, give him a little bit of a break. We were begging this kid who wouldn't even make that throw. He wouldn't make that throw last year, probably, to, another wide receiver. Now he's making a throw, and maybe he has time to still perfect it a little bit even more. So let's give him kudos when he does. And then there's people like getting on him for getting in the fight yesterday too. Like, this kid is the most, like, if Patrick Mahomes gets in a fight and is protecting his lineman, we're like, oh, look at Patty Mahomes doing his thing, like, sticking up for his teammates. And then we're like, Daniel Jones, he shouldn't have been in there. He's still making stupid decisions, this and that. Like, can you give the kid a break? Can you give him a break a little bit? Like, we critique him as much as anybody else on the show as well. But, like, doing it on those two instances, just it shows no other side of what you're trying to do here. Like, you're showing a little bit of bias by if you critique every single thing that he does. Right.
And you're just going to alienate people if you're critiquing touchdown passes, especially that one. Right? It wasn't it wasn't a lucky catch or anything. And if you guys watched any clips from today, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. I just love the attitude from the Giants and the fight from the Giants. And if that's because we really going into this season, what is our identity? We don't know, right? The face of your franchise just left to a division opponent. Yeah. You've got potential on a defensive line, but we haven't been a top tier defense. So who are you exactly? Mm-hmm. And if you could be, I mean, Drew Phillips, that dude.
Drew Phillips, baby.
You got to love this kid. You absolutely love this kid. You said it right. It was in his clip. What's your number one trait? I think it was on Hard Knocks. Yep. He's like, I'm tough. Without hesitation, I'm tough. Like, back down to nobody. And he's not just talking it. He was living it in practice. His nose was in every single skirmish. The guy doesn't back down to anybody. So you're starting to see something happen here. Now, it's got to translate, obviously. But listen, it's much better than the alternative, okay? We're not far removed from people retiring in camp, okay?
That's what it is.
People running laps in camp and not having anything going for us. This is legitimate progress, at least positive news coming out of camp, which is all you could hope for at this point.
What's the alternative, right? Like, we got bullied last year. We got bullied, and everybody's like, look at our soft team. Like, look at we're not close to the Detroit Lions. And now when you do step up, they're like, it's just practice. You can't take too much. You can't have your cake and eat it too. This team stepped up and had a great practice against a great team. It's just these joint practices, they tell you, they take more from these joint practices than the preseason games. Because in the preseason games, your offense gets one drive or they're out. And it's vanilla schemes. These guys were scheming for each other. They got good reps. They got good. Everybody, benefited from this. And the Giants came out pretty damn good against the Lions. Their defense, defense secondary has some work to do. A lot of busted coverage, as we saw. To be expected, in my opinion. You have a new defensive coordinator, a lot of new faces in the secondary. There's moving parts everywhere.
We don't know where people are even slotted yet. Like, they don't have positions locked up yet.
Right. Clean that up now. And, again, to be expected. I'm seeing some positive things, though, like Nick McLeod. Again, all I see about Nick McLeod is him breaking up passes. You see positive things about Drew Phillips. Dubin's starting to work his way in. So that's going to be taken care of. But these joint practices matter, and the Giants came out well. Would you have wanted the beat writers not to report on how tough they look, how excited they were? Like, what do you want? What's the alternative? And that's why I say, like, we had fun, man. This is awesome. This is a good time of the year. Finally, we haven't had good positive news in a long time.
Hell yeah, dude. Shout out to the 248 people hanging out with us. We got like 230 people watching on Twitter or X. If that's the case and it's your first time seeing us, hit that revival button. Give us a follow. We'll stay with you all season long and beyond. Mm-hmm. But this is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy today. If you sign up with code REVIVAL, you can get half your deposit matched. And it's August. It's fantasy football. right around the corner. We're going to be doing our best ball leagues. We're going to be setting that up, and you can play with us and talk your shit. And if anyone's not familiar with best ball, all you have to do is draft. You don't have to manage it year in, year out, every week. The pain of the start-sit decisions, it's all gone. All you do is draft, and you sit back and watch it. So we could even do a few of those if we want to.
We got that coming up soon, right? And we're going to be talking fantasy with our fantasy guru.
Love this guy.
Joe, no fantasy expert. And we're going to get that, details over to you guys soon. But I believe we're talking August 13th. Is that the date we're looking at?
Yep. So a week from tonight. So next Tuesday.
Yes. Next Tuesday.
So tonight there's no show. This is the show for Tuesday. Yes. We're getting together tonight instead at our spot.
Yes.
Tommy's in Staten Island. We're going to put a few down. It's been a minute. So looking forward to that. Maybe we'll get a quick video while we're there too. But I wanted to ask you, it's similar to, the effect that Neighbors seems to be having on the offense as a whole, but certainly the wide receiver group. It seems like Brian Burns might be having that effect on Kayvon Thibodeau on that defensive line, because you're putting some pieces together. You can drool thinking about Dex, Tibbs, and Burns, and then a healthy Ojulari, hopefully, just alternating in with fresh legs. You've got what should be a good pass rush. And Brian Burns is like, you see the difference, right? Like Thibodeau is a good player. I don't think he's quite reached his ceiling or his draft, right? Like we drafted him so I don't think he's quite reached that level yet. But Burns is different. Neighbors is different. And the fact that you added one on each side of the ball is absolutely awesome. What do you think of the effect Brian Burns is having so far in camp?
I mean, listen, again, as a Florida State fan, I was already biased to Brian Burns. But, now Giants fans are getting a real taste. When he was in Carolina, you kind of you heard about the guy, but you didn't see what he had to skill-wise. This guy is pulling off. He's bending around the edge. He's beating guys off the snap. He's spinning and circling back into the middle. He's got an arsenal of pass rush moves. And again, KT is good. KT is on a nice developing trend. You hope that he keeps developing off of last year, quietly having a good camp. But Brian Burns isn't quiet. He stands out every single practice. He's going today against, all-pro or Pro Bowl level tackles in Decker, and he's making them look not silly, but he's winning the reps. He's winning the reps against great tackles. And you have yourself an edge one in Brian Burns, and there's no doubt about it. He nicked up his ankle again today, kind of worried about that. I'd sit him the rest of the week. Give him the rest of the week off, let him get healthy. This guy has nothing left to prove, in my opinion. Bubble wrap him if you want until week one. You got yourself a bona fide star, and he's only 26. He's only 26. You paid him that money because you think there's even another level to his game. And it's scary to think about him having, Thibodeau on the other side and Dex, who pushes the pocket better than anybody in the NFL from the inside now. That combination of three guys right there. You throw Aziz in as a second wave of guy, if God forbid someone gets hurt or tired. And Aziz is having a pretty decent camp too. It's scary to think about how that front seven's going to look. And you got Okereke. Kariki. No, you got him picking off passes and looking just like the guy he did last year.
He was a stud last year.
That front seven just makes you salivate, and it's going to make up for the weaker secondary, or at least give him a chance to grow.
Don't forget who there is no answer for in the entire NFL, and that's McFadden.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is no answer for McFadden. So it goes on. We have breaking news on the show. TK, I don't know who TK is. He has, from a source inside the Giants organization, they chose their after draft party at Tommy's because they saw that was our.
We're trendsetters. We're trendsetters, and we're not afraid of it. We like to push the envelope, and the Giants are following suit. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Thank you, TK, for the breaking news. We appreciate you. What's going to be your first drink tonight, Spiro?
You know what? I'm gonna just
assuming you haven't had your first drink already.
No, not yet. Not yet. But I'm just chomping at the bit because I can't wait to hang out with my boys.
Yeah.
I can't wait to chop it up with you guys. And I'm just gonna have a bucket Merrill Lite to start off, just a whole, ready it all the way down, and I cannot wait to just gulp a couple of those things, man.
I could help you with that.
How about you? Yeah.
No, I'll jump right in that bucket. Let's just do that. Bucket beers. That way we don't have to do this every 45 seconds.
Yeah, right. John, good point. Isaiah Simmons. A lot of people were down on Isaiah Simmons because there was an immediate reaction to the Giants bringing him back right away and spending big money on him, but quietly came back, quietly changed to the cornerbacks meetings, and is playing a little nickel with the cornerbacks, and it seems like Bowen's got a plan for him, and all you've seen him do in the past couple of days, in the past weeks, is just make plays. He's pass breakups at the goal line. Today he came in on a blitz, and I think he got in within a half a second to Jared Goff. It seemed like he got there instantly. It's intriguing to see that if maybe Bowen thinks that this guy is an ultimate weapon, and he's going to use him the way we had hoped. He's got so many skills. Covering tight ends, blitzing, being a linebacker when you're going small nickel with the defensive backs. He's kind of like a linebacker playing defensive back. It's cool to see him do a lot of things, and it kind of gives you a little intrigue about him as a player.
Absolutely. He's always been one of those guys belongs on the football field, just hard to figure out where.
Right. It's still
just like
that guy.
Yep. So let's land the plane here soon. Do you feel that the recent week of practice has given you a different outlook on this season, or is it's just too early? We still have a month before the season starts.
Yeah. I think what it kind of made me feel better about is that this team's not going to be a pushover. I think this team's ready to fight. And that was a big thing for me. I know that the defense had potential. It could be good. It's good to see that's been cemented in my mind with that front seven. But the offense now showing that they are not going to shy away from giving their star player the ball. And we saw it with Waller, but I feel like this Neighbors thing is different. He just gets open every single time. Every single time he's open. So I feel great about the toughness and what this offense can take a step up with the offensive line looking decent and Neighbors. I think that's what it is.
My favorite part of all of that is you now got Brian Dable stirring the pot. He's the guy that's watching this come together and is going to be calling the plays, which might be the biggest difference of all. To have him behind that, because now you got Neighbors, who's I think Dable is just on a different level. Right, and he's got success doing this. So whether you throw Neighbors an early target to put him on the defense's mind, right, then you have to adjust him. Then you just start feeding fucking Wandale over the middle, and then you hit Hyatt on a deep one. Then it's like, well, who the fuck do we guard now?
Exactly.
What are we supposed to do? Exactly. And then you saw, I think Neighbors had 2 touchdowns of over 25 yards between the 2 days of practice. That's where the Giants. You got to finish. You need big explosive plays, and you got to put up points. And you're not beating anybody, no matter what the defense is doing, unless you're scoring points way more easily. You got to get above 20 points a game. You got enough of this 17, 19. God damn it. You're not going to win games. Put points up, and don't be afraid, call me crazy, to get a lead in the first quarter, right? Just go score on your first possession one time.
Oh, it'd be nice.
We always come out so, I don't know. Just let's feel it out. Let's start the chess game. No, dude, sometimes it's okay to just go punch somebody and go be aggressive. So I would like to see that from the Giants, and I think Dable is not afraid to dial that up.
Dable and with Neighbors being that puncher, he's going to bring the fire from snap one, and he's going to light a fire on this team's ass. First down, he might break one. He is a threat to break one every single play. And again, we haven't had that juice on this offense. I know Saquon Barkley was an explosive player, but Neighbors is different. He's going to beat you, and he's going to tell you about it, and he's going to jack everybody else up on the offense. Everybody's going to be psyched to play for this guy, with this guy, and he sets a tone. Statements were made during this Lions practice. It's he is going to let you know about how good he is, and this Giants offense is going to follow him to that. Like they have an identity. It seems like they're forming an identity now. And if we can get JMS in the middle of that line, I feel like it'll be even better. I cannot wait till he gets back. I hope he gets back. I hope the shoulder thing isn't as bad as it sounds. Because it feels
not feeling great about it. And what do you do with a fucking hurt shoulder when your job is this?
And like, hitting into everybody with your shoulders. But I like, and tell me if I'm wrong here. Me and you, and again, I think a lot of Giants fans, we saw that we signed Van Roten, who was supposed to be a guard, and we saw him move over to center. We're like, why the fuck are we doing this again? But when over the week now that he's been here, he's stuck at center. He hasn't moved from center. They're keeping it center. Runyon is at left guard. Stinney's at right guard, and Illuminor's at right tackle, and the line has stayed the same. And I think that's what we really want at the end of the day. Yes, we moved him a position, but they feel good about him at center, and they're keeping everybody else where they should be. And they have finally a semblance of a sturdy offensive line. And that's, I think, a positive, in my opinion. What do you think?
That's the biggest thing. Consistency, the same guys getting to know each other. And Dable did put a positive spin on Van Roten, playing some center. He's like, number one, he's our backup center, which was, he's got center experience. He's a good player. But he said it'll be good for him to get reps at center, not only if JMS goes down in the season, because he's going to have to go start there, but he's going to learn all the calls. As you move over to guard, you could think like a center now in this system. So I think it's ultimately, hopefully, a good thing. But if JMS can lock that down, it just makes the whole line better, right? You just become that much deeper and better. So speaking of O-line, let's run through a couple questions that we got in the chat, and then we can boogie. From John, thank you, John. Saw Evan Neal was not on the depth chart. Is his Giants career over?
Shit. You want to take this first? I don't think it's over. I think they're just waiting for him to get back. But it's clear that they're ready to move on from him. And it's like, go out, get on the field first, stay healthy, show us something first. And if you don't, you're an afterthought at this point. I think he's an afterthought.
Yeah, he might be like the 7th or 8th guy, depth-wise, which makes him a gigantic whiff of a draft pick. But at the same time, I'd rather the best 5 guys get out there, right? You sign some veterans for this reason. Illuminor has already shown more than we've seen from Evan Neal, right? And his Twitter game is great too. He just does all the right things. Yeah,
and Hutchinson, he went up against a very good young and ascending player in Aiden Hutchinson. And did you hear Hutchinson's name at all? The past 2 days, I haven't. He was been shut down 2 days, man. So you have a guy, and yes, you miss on the pick. That's bad. But you sign what could be an above average, maybe right tackle in Illuminor, and that's what we're looking for, man. We're looking for consistent play. And
I'm just going to jump to TK's question real quick and then get back in order just because it's kind of related. But all we know is shoulder injury. They're not telling us a whole lot of what's going on with him. All we know is shoulder, but he's not out there. And it's been, I think, a few weeks now. So it's concerning, and we don't know how serious it is. That's basically where it's at.
If he's not back next week, then the red flags start to go. I get not wanting to put him in for these joint practices right away. He's been out for too long. If he's not back within the next couple of days, then the red flags come up.
Yep. Next question. You think Brian Flores is going to have the Vikings defense on fire when they play us? Bit of a backstory there. So the backstory, I think what you're referring to, Brian Flores was, doing the head coach interview, carousel, just like Brian Dable was. And this was the infamous, I think Bill Belichick texted the wrong Brian and said, congrats on the Giants gig to Brian Flores. And he was like, wait, I got it. And he accidentally texted Brian Flores instead of Brian Dable. So that's what I think you're referring to. I don't know if it's going to change much. It might be a little extra motivation for him, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to prepare and try to kick the Giants' ass either way.
I'll put a little bit more onto your story. I think what he actually, and I think he tried to sue the Giants or whatever. I think he tried to say that they used him only as the
to check a box, right?
To check the whatchamacallit box. I forget what it's called, Rooney Rule box. Yeah. And I don't think that was the case, but Hey, listen, Brian, if he's gonna bring it, he's gonna bring it. I think the Giants should score some points on that Minnesota defense. It doesn't have a lot of star players on it, so I don't care if Brian Flores is genius or not. I think the Giants should score.
Right on. All right, one more. Giants got like 10 mil left in cap. You see Shane signing any of the remaining cornerbacks. This is the last. I think maybe they're, trying to see how these guys in camp are shaking out and see how confident they are before they spend the last of their money. Because you do need some operating cap space as things happen throughout the season. I don't know exactly what that number is, what you need to go into a season with. But if you only have 10 million, you need to get a corner for less than 10 million then. And who,
I don't see it.
It may not happen. And you may just have to roll with the young guys, and which could be a blessing in disguise, right? If you bring a Dory back, he's not a long-term answer. You just let him walk out anyway. So maybe you let your young guys develop. They've invested. They got young guys back there. It would be great to have an established veteran back there, like a Gilmore, right? But if he's going to be expensive in a 1-year rental, I don't know. I don't know what you do there.
I think Gilmore wants to go to a contender. I think you can pretty much say you're out on that. And you would think a lot of these guys want to go to a team that has got a better chance than the Giants, right? And the Giants don't have a ton of money to pay them. So maybe if it works out, somebody falls through last day before the season starts, whatever. Not last day, but late. Maybe you can sneak one in. But I think in my world, you wait till cut day. There's 2 holes on this defense, right? There's defensive tackle. I think right next to Dex, you could probably use somebody else. And there's, corner, getting another cornerback, whether McLeod proves to be that guy or Flott, regardless, I would like one more body there to have a little bit better feeling of depth. And I think you get 2 mid-level guys, right? You get a mid-level defensive tackle, a mid-level cornerback after cut day. You can find whoever it is, trust your scouts, and get those 2 positions filled. And you feel a lot better about the defense overall as a whole.
Jay agrees with you, right? There's a whole lot of people about to be cut, and there's going to be cheaper options. And I'm sure that they're monitoring all of that. And I would definitely expect that someone to be added at that point. Thank you, G-Man. Appreciate you. This has been a fun show. Let me see what else here. Do you think we close the gap? This is a big question. I'll try to be quick. I think us and Washington are on similar levels of arrow probably pointing up. Washington has got their quarterback seemingly. They seem to be headed in the right direction, and the Giants seem to be headed in the right direction too. But I would say they're on similar levels. I think Philly continued to get better, and I don't think Dallas did anything to get better. They pushed this all-in crap. Well, what did you do? Exactly. You got contract disputes, quarterback that's unhappy with the last year of his deal. CeeDee Lamb got paid, right? Micah Parsons, everyone wants to be the highest paid in the league, and they all have a case to. If they were on different teams, they probably would be.
It's disease of me, right? Disease of me, as the Barty said the Giants had.
I've heard
yes,
it.
Yes. Looks like Dallas has a little case of the disease of me as well. It's a big year for them. All the pressure's on them. They have to win, or you could see massive changes in Dallas. I don't think they got better, so I do think we close the gap on them. Philly, I don't know. Philly's Philly, but again, if you saw what the continuation of last year and it continues into this year about their fading play, they choked big time last year. I have a Philly family who are still now out now questioning whether Jalen Hurts is officially that guy because he had one really good year.
That's
and two so-so years, and it's back to questioning again, And where is he? Is he a top 10 guy? Borderline top? Is he a top 5 guy? Is he a top 15? There's a varying level of circumstances.
I think he's perfect for who they are.
Yeah,
right. He's not. I don't see him as a gunslinger with a huge arm.
No,
but he's so good at all the little things.
And he's got everything he needs.
And they're about to add a filthy read option into their offense with Saquon and him. He's the best goal line quarterback in the NFL.
Push.
Let's see how they do without Kelsey. But I mean, he beats you in a lot of ways, and he still keeps AJ Brown, getting fed. So they're well-rounded, great O-line. They have so many things going for them that he seems to be a perfect fit for them. Like, if not him, like, what else do you need? He doesn't have the best arm in the world, I'll say that. But
No.
is that really why you're losing? I don't think so.
It'll be interesting, man. It'll be very interesting. You added Saquon. They never paid running backs before, the Eagles. Now they paid a running back. Let's see what happens there. But overall, man, I think just to tie a bow on it, I think a lot of Giants fans saw something that gives them hope. And that's something that we didn't have prior to this week. And, we'll take that alone. We'll take that as a success, and we can now move forward with it. I'm excited for Thursday. I want to see what the backups can do. And, you get JMS back, you get these people back. The defense starts to have less miscommunications. Maybe you have something here when we thought we didn't have something.
I'm tired of being sarcastic about the Giants. I want to be in, and I want to know my team has a shot to beat anybody in the league. And this week was encouraging. I will say that. We'll see what it turns into. You got to do it when it matters, but it's been encouraging, if nothing else. This was a lot of fun. Spiro, great idea to go live today. Can't wait to see you in a few hours at our spot. Throw down a Miller Lite bucket or two. We'll see how that goes. We'll be with our guy Eli tonight too. But shout out to the 323 right now hanging out with us. We appreciate you. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and follow us. And if you're cool, we'll follow back. Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
I think that's a fair statement.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Mr. Glass Half Full, El Jefe, on behalf of Eli. See you next time. Go Giants.
New York Revival, I'm in the building.
Let's
go.
Live with the Woodlike Roar!
go.